It's a big weekend for the team here in Austin. There's no doubting that. We need to make sure that both our drivers are fully focused on the Constructors' Championship and not preoccupied by the drivers. And we're both finishing ahead of the Red Bulls as well. Look, it'd be nice if Gasly could let me win one. That's all I'm saying. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Aussie Villain Racing. There are 3 races to go in our final season and this is how the championship standings stand. We are at Austin for the American Grand Prix today at COTA and, well, 3 points between Gasly and Verstappen at the top of the standings for the drivers. Myself, I really would like to try and get up with the Mercedes there and try and get myself maybe 5th in the championship, but the Constructors is where the real interest is. We had a really good Japanese Grand Prix last time out in that Gasly won, and that was pretty much the only points that either team scored. And well, we're back in it. We need 3 more strong results basically to try and overturn that deficit, don't we? Let's go back though and have a look at what we can do between the 2 races. There is a little bit of time here, so we will despite previously not giving Gasly anything, we will try and make sure that we're getting Gasly as good as he can be, just to try and try and get ourselves across the line here. So that's everything that we can do. Yeah, that's sponsors and chassis department focus. I don't see a need necessarily to do that. Facilities, we've got 18 million since the last season. We won't spend anything on it just yet. R&D, now I have gone through to try and protect the things that we can protect. So that is that, but it doesn't affect anything for this season. That, to be honest, the only reason that is going to have any impact is if I keep playing off camera, which I always say I will. But I never have time, so unfortunately I don't think it's going to make any difference. Now, in terms of the engine parts, now we know that last race, anything that we had a couple of new parts up our sleeve from the engine penalties we took at Monaco, I think it was. So everything is brand spanking new as of the Japanese Grand Prix, so it's just got the 1 race. Gearbox, will have a new gearbox coming for the final race of the championship. Corporate side of things, again, doesn't really have any impact. We're a little bit short of getting the 4th sponsor still. But everything here is the same as it always has been. And the standings, we've seen the standings. Season results, I mean, second half of this season, it's just gone a little bit wrong for me, hasn't it? 13th, 10th, 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 and 11th. So I need a big result, and Austin is maybe not somewhere I've typically delivered that. If we go back and have a look how I've gone previously, Did we race in Austin? We did. I came 7th in Austin last year. Now, that was with a car that was very much the best on the grid, or certainly one of the 2 best cars on the grid, so that would not bode well. 10th, we came in Season 2, and Season 1, again, we were 10th. So I have a history of scoring points here, but not a history of scoring big. I tell you what, look at how I finished last season, on Season 3. Yeah, that was quite epic, wasn't it? So, yeah. We've got a history of scoring points here, maybe not scoring the big points that we will need. The rivalry with Bottas is essentially meaningless at this point. Driver details, can I add to any of these things? 2 poles, I don't think I can do that. 4 race wins, 11 podiums. I'd like to get another podium or 2 if I can. I'd like to get 3 wins if I can, lucky 7. But yeah, that is how things stand on that front. So let's go and sim ahead here, get ready for the race, and see exactly if anything can go wrong. Hopefully not.
New parts are completed without issue.
The new parts, that's bits that are being upgraded or protected, adapted. That's what we're looking for. We've got a personnel event here, though. Okay, so basically, Drive to Survive wants to come in and do a bid on the headquarters. Let's go with the Team McLean. So we'll do that and see if that gets us a little bit closer to that 4th sponsor. But yeah, it's not going to make much difference because, as I said, we've pretty much been able to protect everything. We've been saving up those resource points the last season or so since we've had the car at its max. All right, it's race time. Let's head off to the US of A. I don't know why I said US of A. I hate when people, it's like a pet peeve of mine. USA. All right, let's have a look at the weather forecast. Track map is there. There is next to no chance of rain, so that can only be a good thing for me. I'm going to do some free practice, and I will see you for qualifying. Hopefully I nail a setup that can enable us to really compete at the front of this field. All right, so free practice is done. I think I probably have a top 10 car. I mean, Gasly's in the top 3 or 4, as you would expect. The Ferraris have been very quick in free practice. I'm expecting to get out of Q1. Q2, we will see. That's going to be the challenge. But Q1 on mediums, let's do it. Alright, we're coming up to start what will be my second lap on the soft tyre. You can see we're P19 after our medium run, and I stuffed up this lap in right at the start of the S's. So, third time's a charm, hopefully. Very difficult to find the apex of that first corner. We've got a decent enough exit. We're way up already over the first lap. I can see the delta's green, but I can't see more than that yet. Really got to concentrate through there. So it's 6/10 up already. A little bit less than that now. I'm a little bit concerned, Schwartzman and Russell. So there's, you know, those cars that we've usually been much quicker than even on the medium tyre. They've suddenly popped up and are ahead of us here when we do our medium run. So I'm a little bit concerned that they've maybe bought some upgrades, and even getting out of Q1 might start to be a bit of a challenge. We are a second up. Now that could just as easily, that's sort of just the tyre delta. I don't even think I've covered the tyre delta yet, so... That only 14th. Alright, so even Gasly is only 9th. We have snuck through in 16th, but we've done that on a medium tyre. So to get into the top 10, we need 1.2 seconds on the same tyre. I don't know where that's coming from. Alright, so we just got to do the best lap we can. We're going to have a car coming out of the pits here to get in our way. It's Pierre. He's going to get out of the way. Alright, we'll try this again. I mean, I don't know who in their right mind on our pit wall thought sending Gasly out then was a good idea. Now, who's this? This is turning into a bit of a nightmare session already. It's Lando Norris. Now, is he going to play nice for us? No, and we're going to get his dirty air through the S's, which isn't going to help us. Already you can see just the lack of grip. Maybe we can make it up with a toe down the back straight if we're lucky. Ignore the delta, obviously. I was just cruising around, so that is effectively not representative. It's useless. Alright, come on, Lando. Give us a nice toe, and then pull out of the way at the end for us.
There's only one lap of fuel remaining.
So Lando played nice, which is more than we can say for Gasly. Is of course now that going to be enough to do a lap that gets us out? And yeah, I mean, you'd suspect not, but we'll see. Wait, are we in Q1? No, we're in Q2, aren't we? I mean, there's an argument to say we don't want to get out of this session, just get as far up as we can. 11th would be nice. Get as far up as we can and start on the mediums. 11th would be nice, but we're sitting in P16. We've got to get ahead of these Aston Martins at a minimum and go from there, I think. It doesn't, I mean, Gasly's leaving outside the top 10. What has happened to our car here? Alright, here we go, coming around to start what is essentially our last lap of this session, because if we get into the top 10, we don't want to be starting on tyres that are any older than they have to be, which is one lap. That's it. That's a better exit. See it's green. I can't see how much it's green by, but that's obviously a positive. We're a few tenths up. I think we needed 3 or 4 tenths to get the Aston Martins, didn't we? So we're doing that right now. Just a little bit deep into that corner. Still got, it looks like a marginally better exit than we did previously. So we're on course right now. If the Aston Martins don't improve, to get ahead of them. And that is the absolute bare minimum we can stomach, I think. Such a stupid little piece of racetrack. I'm losing time, losing time. Oh, it's not great. Still P16. We'll just have to go again and hope. Alright, so we've had a cooldown lap or a recharge lap, whatever you want to call it. And now we go. It's our last attempt at this, and well, we've just got to be faster. And not a great start as we're a little bit slower out of that first corner. Not ideal to have an Alpine all over my backside, but anyway, we've mucked it up. Stay with it, but I don't think it's going to make much difference now. We're 3/10 down. We needed to find about 3/10. I mean, it's, in a way, it shows I did leave quite a bit on the table in that first attempt, didn't I? Because I'm only a 10th off. So it wasn't a great lap. I'm actually faster. Wow, P14. I mean, in the end, I could have easily have got P12 ahead of both the Alpines as well, but Gasly's pulled it out, which is annoying, isn't it? But yeah, so I do have a decent lap in the car, but yeah, I stuffed up, obviously, the second sector on the first lap and the first few corners there on the first lap, but there we go. We will be starting from P14, penalties pending. Let's hope the Red Bulls have a few of those.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Lewis Hamilton and Norris, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Stroll and Pierre Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Oldtimer and Giovinazzi, Lundgaard, Bottas, and Guan Yu Zhou and Robert Schwartzman, Russell, Latifi, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Well, if Japan was a dream race for us and a nightmare one for Red Bull, the fortunes have turned here, haven't they? Because that is Red Bull front row. I mean, it's even worse for us than it was for them. And Gasly is, well, just in front of us, really, isn't he? So I'm going to do the old switcheroo on the tyres. We'll start on the mediums. We will switch to the softs. We will come in lap 6, lap 5. It's saying it's faster. So we'll come in lap 5, put on the softs, and try and go to the end. Get the undercut on... no, it's actually, that's faster, isn't it? So that's what we'll do. We'll come in lap 6 and just hope, pray, anything we can do that something goes wrong with the Red Bulls. Maybe they'll take each other out and Gasly and I can come through this field, but this is not looking good. All right, here we go. That's not a good looking front row, is it? I did notice looking at the grid back that Gasly actually was on pole but got a penalty. So that's not ideal. We haven't got a great start compared to those around us. Giovinazzi's got an absolute flyer. We go down the outside. Giovinazzi almost pulled in front of us. Can we sweep around and find ourselves in the points? We can, up to P10. Slotting in behind Ricciardo. Now, of course, everybody around us on the softs. And the delta between a new set of softs and a new set of mediums is just over a second a lap. So it's big. We're going to be slow in this first stint, and if Gasly can just be a little bit patient here, I will happily let him go. Just back out of the throttle a little bit there to let him round the outside. Don't run up the back of your teammate, please, Aussie Villain. And now we just need to try and stay with him if we can. We've got an Alpine on our inside. That's Alonso. We seem to race Alonso every race now, don't we? But anyway, he's got a good run on us, and we might find ourselves dropping back to P12 here if we're not careful. He goes very late on the brake on his soft tyres. Can we got our nose up the inside? Can we keep it up the inside? We can. We'll show him the curb. And we hold on to P11, and now it is just time to settle in and try and go with these cars in front. Anything we can do less than a second a lap in terms of time loss is absolutely key, but you can see it's already 1.4 seconds. I think the problem I'm going to have as well, that is not as fast as I can accelerate on the medium tyre, is I just need to not overdrive the car, and as we can see there, I'm already doing that, so that doesn't bode particularly well, does it? But P11 it is, the Alpine's behind us, and it looks as though, certainly from what we can see with the limited view of tyres there, everybody appears to be on the soft. So we're going to have a nice little overlap, and if we can keep these guys behind us, it would mean we can... Oh, Alonso sticking his nose up the inside again. He loves to stick his nose in where it doesn't belong, doesn't he, old Fernando? And am I dreaming, or are we a little bit closer to Gasly and Ricciardo in front of us? If we're looking at those cars inside the top 10 that we could maybe catch, the McLarens... maybe the AlphaTauris, though they appear to be a decent car these days. The Mercedes, I mean the Red Bull's running first and second. It's a worst case scenario for us, isn't it? And we're down there in 10th and 11th. And a little bit of train going behind me as well. It's a good old fashioned trolley train. But yeah, we've got an excuse, and it's the tyres. It's the S's at the start of the lap, and then this section here where the extra grip really does pay a lot of lap time. So 2.5 seconds over 2 laps is not the end of the world. Running a little bit wide there, and then overcompensating and all over the shop, and that's costing me time as well. I mean, it's so difficult going through qualifying and on a soft tyre, and then not only having less grip, but also trying to go fast to keep up with Gasly and I can't keep up with him at the best of times, even though he is my number 2, and I won't hear anything other than that. But yeah, I mean, this part of the lap as well, it really is difficult. If you, and I don't do this obviously, but if you can sort of nail the line, then you can not lose much time on the medium. But it's very, very unforgiving if you do miss it just a little bit. And a little bit like Maggot Beckett's at Silverstone, but worse arguably because... I'd say it's actually worse. If you do mess up one, it just feeds you on to the next one and then the one after that, and you just keep losing time the whole way through. Now we're on lap 3, which means DRS is open. We can see there Alonso catching us. We just feed him to the outside, and we should be able to show him the curb and keep the position. There is a part of me that thinks, do we maybe let Alonso go and hope that he can sort of catch up to the cars in front? We can sort of, toe up on the DRS and so not lose any more positions, and maybe that's the best way for us to go forward, but I don't think it's worth the risk, because if I was to lose the DRS to Alonso, then... And it's a relatively compact field. We can just sort of see in the distance there as they all go up into turn 1. It is still quite tight up there, so if we can stay close, and Alonso again sticking his nose where it really doesn't belong. But yeah, if we can stay relatively close, we could pick off cars on the soft tyre later on. And we'd have, the back straight DRS as well as the front straight DRS in order to do it. Plus any other sort of moves we could jimmy our car into. Now you'll see green flag flashing there. Mick Schumacher retires. Now I'm not 100% sure what happened. I'm assuming mechanical, because there was no talk of a safety car or anything. Although a safety car would have been quite good at. Maybe not quite at this point, so I pull to the inside, just trying to break the toe, not give Alonso toe and DRS. But if we would get a safety car now, it would go to lap 6 or 7. We could just about get away with the soft tyre, plus we would be right behind everybody else on a medium. So I would love for a safety car to come out, maybe in a lap or two's time, but unfortunately Mick Schumacher wasn't to do that for us. So almost 5 seconds over 4 laps, though we're sort of staying just about in the tyre gap. You'll see the mediums are still in pretty good nick, and as the softs wear, then that delta between the two should come down as well. So maybe we're starting to see that. Are we getting a little bit of a gap to the Alpines? Perhaps we are. We're going to skip ahead now to lap 7. You'll see the gap is gone, but it's as close as it's been. We've sort of been able to hold them at arm's length. They haven't been close enough to really make a move on the back straight with the DRS. But there's both of them here, right behind us, and well, they both look close enough to make a move on the DRS. And I've got a little bit wide on the exit there as well, which isn't going to have helped that. Again, we go to the inside. What I want to do is just not give Alonso a chance to make a move down the inside. And then sort of, as he goes down the outside, once he commits to that, sort of feed him back across. But on this occasion, he wasn't really in a position to... Actually, it's Ocon behind us now, not Alonso. But yeah, just wasn't really in a position to be able to do that. And you'll see the gap to Gasly is now 10 seconds. We've lost a little bit of time. And a lot of that is just the Alpines being behind, and as Gasly comes in, we're also coming in the pits this lap as well. We're about to dive over there now. But yeah, the issue we have with the Alpines is just having to leave them space in some corners, and yeah, it just costs time.
Okay, well there is about a second a lap difference between the mediums and the soft. Hopefully we'll get every little tenth of that second a lap, because we're going to need it. 7 to go. And a long way. Why are we holding at the start of the stop?
Exit now.
Anyway. It's not looking good, but we'll see what we can do.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Alright, so we've got the soft tyre now. We've got, 7 laps, including this one, to use it. So let's see what we can do. Let's have a look at how much extra grip we have.
They have some kind of mechanical problem.
So Latifi with a mechanical problem. Oh, you can see already so much more grip through the S's there. We are down in 17th right now. Latifi in front of us on the softs hasn't stopped. The gap to Gasly was 11 seconds. It's already down into 10s though. And let's see what sort of, how much can we cut out of his lead. That will be the interesting thing in these next few laps. We'll get an idea then if we are going to be able to catch him, and potentially cars in front of him, or if we are very much going to be just sort of cruising around trying to avoid another 11th place finish. This is the sort of part of the track where we might be able to take chunks out, and the gap's come down to 9 seconds now. Now it was low 11s at the start of the lap, and it's continuing to tumble down to 8 seconds now. We've taken almost 3 or 4 seconds out of Gasly this lap, so this could be on. We can see on the tower there, Ocon, Lundgaard is going to owe us a pit stop. The tower is jumping around all over the shop as guys do make their stops. Latifi comes in with his mechanical issue, so that's going to put us up a position. But let's see where we go now. A purple final sector,
6.9 seconds,
and it's P10. So we've gained a place somehow. Not sure what has happened there, but we found ourselves now in the points. Gasly, Hamilton on a hard tyre. Now he could be up for the pickings. And 6 seconds. So we took... How much was that we took out of Gasly in a lap? And a purple first sector to go with that purple final sector. We've almost halved the gap to Gasly that lap. Surely he must have had traffic or someone in his way that's pitted, because there's no way we are that much faster than Pierre. Surely not. Gasly has got a front of Hamilton now. So that's him up to... Oh, no, just joking. Alonso... Gasly's back behind Hamilton, so they're clearly battling away. for 8th and 9th. And the gap is down to 6.1 seconds, 5.9 seconds now. So this, I mean, it does make you wonder. We've still got 5 laps after this one. Is that right? Yeah. So if we're taking 3-4 seconds times 5, you know, we could be talking 15 seconds that we can catch up here. Now that's of course relying on me not making any mistakes, which is almost certainly not going to happen. A little bit deep there. Is that going to cost us time? Lundberger's coming to the pit, so that's going to be
Great work.
oh, we've done the fastest lap of the race as well. Excellent stuff. We are absolutely flying. And we'll skip ahead now to lap 12. And, well, we weren't flying quite as much. We are still catching Gasly and Hamilton. You can see the gap to Gasly is 3.4, so we've brought in about another 1.5 seconds. Hamilton is 2.5 seconds up the road. And we've got 2 laps to go at the end of this one. So, we're in P9. Leclerc has done an extra stop, as has, I believe it was Norris. So those two have dropped out of the top 10, which is how we've gone from 11th
Some
to 9th.
information on Gasly. They seem to have an issue.
Oh no.
So Gasly is slowing.
Caution.
Can I do that?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do
Green
that.
flag.
Now you just passed on the yellow.
And by may have, I definitely did. So that's us after P7, but Gasly, well, I don't even know if he's going to finish. He's not behind Hamilton anymore. It looks like, is he in the pits or is he retiring? Anyway, that was pretty much all she wrote. The gap to the cars in front was a little bit too big to catch in a lap and a half. So we're cruising in for P7, which is a decent result for us. But with Red Bull, you can see they're sitting 1-2 for the constructors. Now, Gasly's down there in P15, so he was able to continue. He's obviously not going to score points, though, from there. Verstappen has indeed won the race. And, I mean, this has been my best result for almost half a season, so it feels good from my point of view, but that championship doesn't look so hot now.
Well, as far as a personal drive goes, that's good, but for the championship, that's horrible.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Yeah, what the hell happened, mate? You're supposed to win. The Constructors is done. We can't... What happened? Oh, Pierre, this is why you're number 2, mate. You don't win when I can't. I know I never can. So, I enjoyed the race. I did as well as I could have. I think, ultimately, if I need to stick a little bit closer on the medium tyre, perhaps, I think I was maybe overdriving a little bit. Just sort of not understanding that the tyre delta is at second. So, anything less than that a lap, and I was doing okay. And if I'd done that, it would have helped if I didn't have the Alpines all over me. Maybe we could have got P5 in the end ahead of Stroll, who was only just, 3 or so seconds ahead of us. But everybody else there was out of reach. And ultimately, we got a little bit of luck. I think we would have got Hamilton anyway. Technically, I think we passed under yellow, but it's not really my problem. But we can see Bottas. I'm not quite sure what happened to him. But Norris, I think, he started P6. Or Bottas started down the grid, did he? So that's what happened to him. But Leclerc as well. So there's a couple of guys there that dropped out, and obviously Gasly as well. So, yeah, personally a good race, but if we go and have a look at the standings, it's not gone well for the team, has it? Gasly is now a full race behind. Tsunoda, annoyingly, came 5th, so was it 4th, so I didn't really catch anything up on him. So, yeah, that's frustrating, so I do want to kind of beat him. And 74 points now with 2 races to go. I think some quick maths in my head will tell me that is done, because it's, oh no, technically we could still do it, I think. But we'll need to come 1st and 2nd, and Red Bull will need to score nothing. So that's a disaster. So we do take the rivalry points against Bottas. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing, isn't it? There's not really much to race for in these last 2 races. Maybe Gasly's still an outside chance of the Drivers' Championship. But ultimately, we're going to fall short in the Constructors, which, having won it last year, is a bit of a hey, we've got to level 25. We can get another sponsor. But yeah, next up is Brazil. We've got Brazil and Saudi Arabia to go. 2 tracks that I enjoy. Whether or not I'm good at them, I guess we'll find out next week. It'll be the final 2 races of the series, so yeah, there was a suggestion that we don't qualify, turn the skill level down, and race from the back. I don't hate that idea, but I kind of like doing it properly. But you know, if you want to see that, if you'd rather just see me start dead last, we'll turn the skill level down 10 points and see how far we can get. Then let me know. Let me know in the comments. Brazil and Saudi Arabia are tracks you can overtake at as well. So yeah, let me know. Until next time, guys. Take care.